I just got off from work. I haven't been feeling well. I meant to post this because this past Sunday's from was pretty darn good. So I meant to post this like earlier, but I wasn't feeling all that hot. But I do have my notes. But first, I'm about to talk about this Mike Tyson and what's the guy's name? What's his name? What's his name? The person he just fought on the 15th. I'm gonna talk about that fight because my thing is this: everybody is saying that this thing was scripted. People knew that they did not want to watch this fight because you guys weren't even talking about the fight. And then nobody got hyped up until Mike Tyson starts posting videos talking about how he was gonna whoop, I'm gonna call him Tucker Carlson at this point, Jake Paul. And then I still didn't get that hyped up because at first I was in the mindset of saying that it was going to be rigged, but I had to think about, I haven't watched a boxing match probably since 2012 because I don't like the way that boxing is headed. To me, it's like watching daycare fights. And if I want to see a daycare fight, I just walk 2 minutes over here and watch these little kids fight because they fight everything themselves. I seen one little girl fighting a bird. It'll be more exhilarating to watch that than modern day fights. Then I was wondering why this fight was going to happen because Mike Tyson is in the league of Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, all the fighters with heart. And they were street fighters. Like, these fighters now are just fighting to put punches on you so they can put points on the board, and Mike Tyson is not that type of fighter. I hate everybody was talking about this. I hate people are still talking about this, talking about how it was fixed. He just got 20. And people, stop talking like your life has a monetary value, because if you think that way, that means you can be bought for anything. If he got $20 million to rig a fight, however y'all want to think about it, what does that have to do with you? What does really? Because you watched it on Netflix back in the 80s when Mike Tyson was fighting. People was losing $50 and $60 or more on pay-per-view because his fights was lasting half a minute. So really, that fight was already in your Netflix plan. So you really didn't lose too much. You lost less than the people in the 80s, the late 80s did. So why are y'all griping? You should have watched it and kept going. I still think he's a good fighter. He's going to be a good fighter in my league. I don't care I really don't care about anybody else's opinion. It's just the simple fact that people are just, well, 20 million. He just won 20 million. He just rigged the fight for 20 million. It really didn't cost you anything but probably $6.99 to $12.95 or however, 99. However, I stopped subscribing to Netflix, so I don't know how much it costs. So whatever. Like, it seems like the bitching and complaining about this fight is winding down, and I'll be glad when it does. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about From, which was pretty good to be. And then earlier I seen that Rotten Tomatoes put a preview for the show on YouTube, and the idea that Boyd had to have Sarah talk to Elgin was a pretty good idea, because and it may not even hit Elgin in the head. It's the simple fact he needs to be talked to, because my thing for From is all it does is play with people and lie to people. And he had a point when he had Sarah to go talk to Elgin, because all they do is set you up to die and other people to die, and use the theme of you'll go home and you're not going home. So I'm glad that is going to be in this last episode. So first, That's what I started off with in my notes. Elgin thinking that this baby is going to save everybody and have everybody going home is irritating to me, because that's the lie that it has told Sarah. If you kill this person, it told her to kill a little boy and two other people. She killed two other people. They were going home and she ended up killing her brother. And they told her, if you don't do this, we're going to kill your brother. And she ended up killing her brother. So it's nothing but a trap to me, because I feel like if you don't die by their hands, they'll either make a way for you to die or have you guys killing each other. So that's the theme of From Town to me, in my opinion. And I put this in my last notes. Let me go back to my last notes, because I thought about when Elgin went to the cellar and told, what's her name? Fatima, that the baby helped them before. Excuse me. The baby helped them before because when he snitched and told that she was pregnant, it helped him remember his dream, and he helped Boyd. This is how it's going to be paraphrased in my mind. He helped Boyd save the town, which is not true again, because actually Boyd saved the town when he went to the wedding ceremony, and they said something about light, and then he found the torch and was in the tombs, so in the ruins. So it had nothing to do with you, homie. They lying to you again. So let me flip back over to my notes. See, my mind goes a certain way, and plus I've been sick, so I had to write these notes down to get my viewpoint, my opinion. Everybody has an opinion. That's going to be my motto for this From thing, and I have one, and I'm sharing mine too. That's my take on it, and my opinions are not going to be lined up in order, but I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm thinking it's going to be like 30 minutes long. But Tabitha having a premonition, a partial premonition, like a touch premonition, when she touched Victor. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching this episode over and over again. I'm to the point that that touch premonition is to play with them again, because she had this while they're in the church where he's seen Christopher talk to the little boy in white, and it's after he said he doesn't want to remember. So it was like a precursor to really reveal what they're going to mess with him about and the whole town, my opinion. I started to notice that the cicadas come to Randall when somebody approaches him. I love to know why. Because when Boyd came to him on the bus, he heard the cicadas. When he was in the truck with Julie, he heard and seen the cicadas. And then when Jim came to ask, I'm gonna say confront him, he covered it up with try to ask questions about what happened. But he called himself confronting Randall for being around Julie at first. He heard the cicadas, because at first when I seen that scene, I thought it was because he was going to look at his wounds, care for his wounds, but then here comes Jim. So why every time someone approaches Randall, or when they don't want him to do something, because the only time I remember they came outside of that is when he tried to run from them behind the ambulance. So why when people approach Randall, then the cicadas come? Ellis kind of irritated me, because I understand Fatima is in trouble, But your daddy can barely walk, man. Like, you more worried about Fatima than your dad. And I don't think Ellis realized that. Boy, even though he holds the guilt of not being there for Abby when she was breaking down, he still would have sacrificed Abby for his son. I felt like that's why he didn't want to answer that question when Ellis asked him, if you had the opportunity to run with mom, would you? And plus, on top of that, you have to think of the danger element. And I don't think anybody is really like going past that thought that everyone really is a danger to each other, because these entities can pick anybody and say anything to them. Basically, they can pick anybody there and make a promise. Look at season 1 where the guy was so lonely in Colony House. He let one, there's no way in the world, he let one of those creatures convince him that they can be together. So anybody is susceptible. I can't talk. I'm trying to do this in a rush and I shouldn't. But anybody is susceptible. Let me try another word. Anybody is prone, because I can't talk either. Anybody is prone to be picked by them. All they have to do is find out their weakness. Right now, I feel like most of the people who don't see anything has a blinder on. They have a blinder on. So some of those people are not going to be like a target just yet. They can find them if they want to, like a way, but with the blinder is kind of a little hard for them to like pick their weakness, to figure out how to draw them out to catch them. The flashback with Donna helped me remember where the weed was coming from, because I was like, where is weed coming from? I'm still trying to figure, even though she's planting it, how is she planting weed? Like, did she bring weed there and then plant it in the greenhouse from the seeds or whatever? I still want to know where the weed coming from, even though Fatima was growing the weed. Then it was kind of weird to see Dale in the background cheering when he just, lost his life in a pool. The creature asking Boyd, was he okay, when him and Ellis was having a conversation was funny to me. I'm so sorry. My humor is warped. But that was hilarious to me, because I bet you they feel his concern about what's going on. They feel that he's taking it personal, that things are going on, and he's not able to provide a solution. And then when the creature did the gesture for the poon, the pow pow, that was funny too. Ellis getting angry that Kenny knew about Boyd's illness, to me, is fair, because if you recall in season 1, every time he came around, it was nothing but attitude, because he was still angry about what Boyd did to Abby. So it would have been hard to reach out to him. All he could do was at first is, hey, how you doing? I came to check on you. Bye. So like, and that's me. Like, you can't tell me something if I'm angry with you, even if it's important. It's best that you probably, everything you say to me is going to be, an offense reaction or a defensive action, because I don't want you around. If I'm angry with you, I don't want you around. But let me see, I'm going through my notes. Well, that part I already said, because I said he's still carrying the grief of having to put Abby down. that small cut that Fatima gave Ellis, at first I was like, why she do that? But if Ellis didn't, I mean, if Elgin didn't snitch on himself, if she cut him actually, then he would have to go to Kristen and explain why he has a rusted cut on his hand. But it could lead to where he is. Sarah, hearing the voices, that right there, to me was some good acting, because I actually thought something was wrong with her and they recorded it. But at first, when I was like, what's going on, when she was like, no, whatever, I can't remember exactly what she, the exchange she was having, I thought they were getting ready to tell her again, to go harm somebody. But come to find out, they let her know that Fatima was missing. So Donna deciding not to tell shocked me. I thought she really was gonna snitch, and I felt like, is it gonna be easy for you? Because the rule is people have to go into the box. And would you want to go to the box knowing you're about to have a demon baby? Like and then, like, are they? Because I think the children, the creatures, the kimono lady, all of them are in cahoots together. So when the kimono lady told Elgin to take Fatima and take the talisman, to me, another game, because they know she's gonna have this baby. They know it's for whatever agenda, and them just telling other people whatever, it's just a smoke screen to me. So Elgin taking the talisman is just a smoke screen to me also, because I feel like all of them, like, they're all in this fight. They've been cohabitating in some way or form, some type of fashion, some way. So to me, that talisman being taken was a smokescreen, because I think the voices are the creatures. Why were they laughing, telling her you're not going to find her in time? I love to know what this last episode is going to reveal, if it reveals a lot, if it's not going to be another season. Because I want to see what all the connections, what are the dots to this and how they connect. Let me go on to, okay, it might not be this long, so, because I wrote down, does Barney have any bullets in her gun when they were trying to calm Victor down? Like, you have your gun back, so when did boy give you your bullets, or did you go steal your bullets? Kitty does not need to be around her, because everybody knows that it's been there for a while. Victor is the longest running contestant in From Land, Townville, whatever the case may be. He is the longest contestant there. And pulling a gun, drawing a gun on Victor, to me, is a no-no. And Kenny knows better. I feel like she is not a good match for law enforcement there with Kenny. I'm glad him and Boyd are getting back together, because hothead lady, I still want her to be gone, because she's not going to help the situation. She's going to make it worse. The boy in white changing, that was something special. I do want to know what was up with old boy arm, because he looked like his right arm was like just stiff, or he was getting ready to punch somebody if they didn't stop chopping the tree down. Elgin searching for Ellis was diabolical to me. At first I thought that Ellis didn't get that Elgin knew more than what he was saying, because to me he was darn near snitching on himself. And looking at that preview that Rotten Tomatoes put on, he caught on. he caught on. Um, to carry that narrative that her giving birth is going to help everybody is like, okay, after all the things that you've seen, and then somebody tell you that she's pregnant and the baby is not hers, I just let you know that something. Why would you even take part of that? That doesn't make sense. And then he irritated me by saying that the baby, Tilly died because the baby was scared and hungry. Tilly tried to help in her own. I thought Tilly knew something, or something was talking to her too, for her to say, oh, I'm here to help. I thought she knew something. And then she told her to run. So I thought she knew something. So I feel like that's a lie too, because Tilly was trying to help. Why would you? Elgin is really disappointing me right about now. He just really disappointed me at this point. I thought he was better than what he's doing in the show. Jade climbing up the ladder and seeing Christopher and Jasper and going through his little rant. But soon as Jasper yells at him, he almost lost his life down. That ladder was hilarious too to me. Even though Victor said that Christopher is actually talking to the boy in white, I want to know why this puppet, I said this the last video, I'm going to say this video, I want to know why this puppet is yelling. Like, why? What's the purpose? I feel like it should have some type of significance. Jade wanted to follow Victor's daddy because he thought he was going to get some enlightened information about Victor. But then he had to realize that this man hasn't seen his son and God knows when. This man's son is on the verge of collecting SSI just like he is. So what information did Jade think he was going to provide? Because he couldn't. That's why he wants to talk to him, because he doesn't know how to adjust to how Victor is. Because I like the analogy that Jade gave, that, you know, he's been cultivated by living there all those years, and he is expecting for Victor to act a certain way, and Victor's not going to act that way when he's seen the things that he like, you just had a little snippet of what he's been enduring. You've seen the monsters in the tunnel. You see your child is, well, I'm going to tell you guys, like my mom used to tell me, and I heard other old people, you can be 80-something years old and you're still somebody's child. You see your child trying to make a puppet talk. And in your mind, in the real world, a puppet doesn't talk. But he had this vision that he's seen this puppet talk. So that's ingrained in his head. Like, he had to go through like some low budget therapy to realize that that puppet may not have been talking, that Christopher was talking to the boy in white that whole time. But how do you get, like, what kind of, if you could go back to the real world, what kind of therapy can you get for living there if you could get out? That's another thought. Getting to my point about playing this town, playing with people. Tabitha and Julie are at Victor's trailer. Tabitha sees the little child. Mind you, they already laughed and said, you're not going to find Fatima in time. The child leads them to the cellar where Victor's standing there like a Blair Witch child. She touches Victor, and then she sees Miranda's death, which to me is another game being played, because we all know we all know that she died, but then we got to see that the Smiley Monster killed her. Shoot, he was the ringleader. Of course, he's going to be the one. He's a stalker too, and smiling while he's stalking. So that should have been, like, if it wasn't apparent, it should have been like, he did it. He killing everybody else. Like, that should, if we don't know anything else, we know Victor even knows his mother's dead. And y'all standing by that cellar the whole time, going through that whole thing, and she is back there with the kimono lady, mouth being covered by the nasty kimono lady hand. I mean, they are right there, right there. That's why I think the main theme of FromLand is we're gonna play with you and kill you, cat and mouse. So I'm gonna make this, it's going on almost 30 minutes. I'm gonna shorten this. It's not really short, but I'm gonna stop right here because I just got off from work. That's another reason why I'm rushing. I'm gonna try to enjoy my evening to wake up and get back at it again. But like, click, subscribe. I'm gonna put my thoughts on the next one when it comes Sunday. I'm gonna try to get it either between Sunday or Tuesday, try to get it like a little quicker, but it's just this time. I know they've been kind of late. I really didn't feel all that hype this time. But thank you for whoever watches this. Appreciate it. Bye.